Welcome to your course. As you may or may not already know, you have signed up for a course that has been designed based on a concept called Competency-Based Education, or CBE. The basic premise of a CBE course is that you advance through the curricula by demonstrating proficiency on the competencies that define the course. Various authentic assessments are used to measure proficiency on the competencies. Your job is to complete each assessment at the defined level of proficiency in order to show what you know. A course that is built on CBE principles often has differences compared to more traditional courses. Here are some things that are key features of a CBE course. Most CBE courses are self-paced. Rather than having set due dates during the term, you are given the flexibility to complete the work at a pace that aligns to your needs. This flexibility allows you to move as quickly or as slowly as you need during the term to develop your proficiency on the knowledge, skills, and concepts. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that there are some time limits based on the length of your course. For example, if you are taking a course that is scheduled to last for 10 weeks, then you must complete all of the required work within that 10-week time frame. The self-paced nature of the course allows you to take as little or as much time, up to the 10 weeks, to finish. Different classes are set up on different time schedules, so be sure to check in with your instructor to know what time limits are set up for your course. Because of the self-paced nature of CBE courses, it is important that you manage your time well. It is often up to you to figure out a schedule that works best for you for ensuring that you complete all of the work on time. To help you, many instructors provide a recommended pacing guide to help you figure out how best to manage the workload and your time. Check with your instructor to see if a pacing guide is available for your course. Grading in a CBE course also has some unique characteristics. The grading scheme is typically based on an A, B, F scale. However, the letter grade is often only assigned at the end of the course. Rather than receiving letter grades on assessments, you will earn ratings based on the following scale: exceeds proficiency, proficient, approaching proficiency, needs work, and no evidence. In order to pass an assessment, you need to earn at least a proficient rating on all rubric criteria. Furthermore, you have to be proficient on all assessments in order to pass the class. At the end of the course, a letter grade of A or B is assigned based on the number of proficient and exceed proficiency ratings you earned. In most cases, you have to pass every assessment in the course with a minimum rating of proficient. Because of this, you are allowed to resubmit assessments that are not proficient. Your instructor will grade a submitted assessment and assign the appropriate ratings. Your instructor will also provide detailed feedback based on the rubric criteria. For any aspects of the assessment that were not deemed proficient, you will be expected to make revisions and resubmit the assessment to be regraded. Again, the goal of a CBE course is for a student to demonstrate proficiency. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries in order to successfully complete an assessment. Therefore, the opportunity to resubmit work is available. The number of times an assessment may be resubmitted varies from instructor to instructor. Be sure to familiarize yourself with the resubmission policies set up by your instructor. Rubrics are a big piece of the assessment process, and a large majority of the assessments that you complete in a CBE course are evaluated using them. For a typical assessment, you will be given two things to guide your work: the task directions and the scoring rubric. The task directions tell you what to do. The rubric tells you the components that need to be in place in order to successfully complete the task. For example, the task directions might indicate that you are to write a 5-paragraph essay about a particular topic. The rubric will indicate how to structure the paper, how to ensure that the paper is well written, and how to thoroughly address the topic. It is important that you use the task directions in conjunction with the rubric to guide the completion of an assessment. Your instructor will provide you with the rubrics that correspond to each assessment. One of the benefits of taking a CBE course is that you are often able to use your previous life and work experience to help you move through the curricula at a faster pace. If there are things that you have already learned, you can spend less time studying what you already know and can focus your time on the knowledge, skills, and concepts that you are less familiar with. In some instances, you may also be able to use artifacts that you have already created as part of your work experience as evidence of proficiency of a competency. For example, suppose that an assessment task for a course involves creating a meeting agenda. If you have created agendas as part of your work experience, you might submit those agendas for evaluation rather than creating a new agenda from scratch. As long as your artifact meets the rubric criteria, you may be able to use things that you have already created to demonstrate proficiency of a competency. Every CBE course is a little different with regard to how you can leverage your prior experiences in demonstrating proficiency. So be sure to check with your instructor to find out the expectations for working through the curricula and successfully completing assessments. As you can probably see, a course designed on the principles of competency-based education often looks much different than a traditional course. Pacing, assessing, grading, applying prior life and work experiences, and so on all take on unique characteristics within a CBE course. And each CBE course has its own variations and idiosyncrasies. An important piece of advice to remember is to continuously communicate with your instructor. Be sure to read the information provided by your instructor, familiarize yourself with the policies of the course you are in, and ask a lot of questions. Hopefully this introduction has given you some general insight into what to expect as you take a CBE course. Best of luck as you complete your course.